Welcome to the NCAA Softball Regionals presented by Capital One. From Bogle Park here in lovely, bucolic Fayetteville, Arkansas, it's the St. Louis Billikens and the Indiana Hoosiers. A crucial game here today. The winner of this game moves on to take on Oklahoma State, which just lost 6-5 in extra straight starts. For Natalie Sullivan, that's a school record, as are her 132 walks. And she is frozen. Strike three. Good start for Copeland.
Well, she's going to try different pitchers that you've seen, the level that you've played at.
Underneath that two-strike pitch, and Minnick handles business in left field.
And just the more you've been tested, you know.
A hit in 27 of her last 34, but she chases upstairs. Copeland strikes out two and sets the side down in order 1-2-3 to bring the Hoosiers to the plate.
Dot Richardson was a little surprised. They also play a very heavy non-conference schedule.
Shallow center field, and it drops in between Ryan Ulsis and Janey. Bree Copeland, astute on the base paths. AIAW era, 79 and 80, and then 83 and 1986.
But I think that's just a credit to what Shauna Stanton has built since she's been there, being able to be.
They're coming from a lower level, able to make the jump up to a Power 4 league. There's Copeland on a delayed steal to third. She's tagged out by Kendall Johnson, and on the backside of the play, Minnick gets into second base. That's well defended there by St. Louis. Payoff to Parker, hit well left field, and the Hoosiers are on the board. Avery Parker tattoos it into left field, and she drives in Taylor Minnick with one, but no doubt there's some thought in the back of Shauna Stanton's mind, that should have been two.
Yeah, that would have been 2 runs right there, right off the bat. We know this lineup can hit. That is not a weakness for Indiana. This ball left over the heart of the plate. You cannot do that against Indiana. Parker gets all of that off the left field fence and is able to dive in for a double. Nice piece of hitting.
At least 400, and she was exactly at the 400 mark. And lines at center field. That sends Janey back a couple of steps for the second out here in the Hoosiers first.
Does play a factor.
We've seen missed plays on pop-ups to second and to third. Royal throws it off the base and up the first base line. Parker scores from second base, and Allie Van Brandt with a bunt that traveled about 10 feet goes 120 on the base paths.
Well, and this is what Indiana does well. They execute and they force defense to make plays. Yesterday, they struggled a little bit defensively, but here they're taking advantage of a left-handed pitcher. Perfect placement down that first base line when you have a lefty pitcher. That is a hard play for her to make, and that throwaway puts her on second base.
Shallow left, and Sullivan with the call in the catch. Swinging away on 3-0, and it's 4 up, 4 down for Bree Copeland. One thing that stands out.
The wall, and they were able to pull out a bunch of one-run games.
Grounder up the middle, diving stop, straighter, throw to first, and what a stretch. Josie Bird. Highlight reel defense from the Hoosiers.
Well, you just love to see that. I was thinking yesterday after we saw some.
And there is the first base hit in the NCAA tournament history of St. Louis Billikens softball. It belongs to Chloe Ryan.
Well, Chloe Ryan had, in my opinion, the best.
Down 2-0 here, top 2 in an elimination game. When she gets under it, Van Brandt does the same, and the inning is over. Chloe Ryan gives the Billikens their first hit here in the NCAA tournament, and it's back to the bat rack for the Hoosiers. But Taylor Hockman, their senior starter, who led the team in most pitching categories this year, certainly paving the path for Royal, who will be in line to become their ace next year. She got out in front here, but Bird.
That have to wait their turn and sit on the bench, and so you just know that when one goes down, the next one's ready.
Reaching out to grab that one, and Natalie Sullivan with a leaping catch out in left field. By the way, that Ole Miss Arizona game in the top of the fourth now, out there in Tucson. Out to short. Ryan handles it from a knee, but her throw does get the out at second base. Thought it might have pulled Ulsis off the bag there. So they get Kettleman on the force out. Top of the order, Bree Copeland. Wilkeson on the run. Throw from Mallow was on the spot, but does not stay in Ulsis's glove.
Wow, that throw was exactly where you needed to be, and it was not able to stay in Ulsa's glove. Look at how quickly Mallow gets rid of this, and you could not have placed it better. And it was on contact with her.
Loop double just beyond the second base bag. Last inning. That's way to the backstop, and Wilkeson racing for third, takes a big turn. And she's in a little bit of trouble now because she got thrown out by Mallow. Not at second, but at third, and the inning is over. Another out on the base paths by the Hoosiers. 8th spot in the order, Allie Marietta. And hits a sharp ground ball, but right to Allie Van Brandt as Copeland retires the leadoff hitter for the 3rd straight inning. On a single up the middle. Carson Janey with a base hit to the opposite field, and that's number 2 for St. Louis on their first trip through the order.
Fight mentality. So I think you do just take a minute to breathe.
Sullivan lays down the bunt, deadened it well, and her speed carries her through the bag safely. Back-to-back base hits for the, especially if you happen to be confined to a booth. That's up the middle, and the play at second, not in time. Sullivan on consecutive plays has her speed work to her advantage, and they Survivor Saturday in the NCAA tournament. And the second 3-2 is ball 4. The Billikens are on the board. This is a 1-run game, and the bases are still loaded.
And that is a good piece of hitting.
Third base, Burko. She's got the force at the plate, and Parker gets her foot on home for out number 2. Well defended by Indiana.
Oh.
We don't live in a time of patience, so it's good to see at the plate. Another ball to Strader, off the bat of Johnson. This one's a lot easier than the first, and the inning is over. So they leave 3 aboard, but they do score 1 on the
until someone can prove otherwise.
Bree Copeland leading it off and hits it to Chloe Ryan. A very atypical play from her, the league defensive player of the year. She's charged with the error, and Bree Minnick with a good swing, but on a line to right field, and nearly a double play over at first base, as Drummond had advanced a good way up towards second. Marietta tried to get it in as quick.
Jennings and, you know, Riley Boone and just the stars that they had, but then they're just doing the same thing this year.
Liner, second base. Ulsis turns 2.
The first year, everything's brand new to you.
And now there's a freshman class behind you, and you're going, who are these people trying to steal my job? Well, another great plate appearance for Ryan. She fouled away a couple of 2-strike pitches and forced Copeland to throw one out of the zone. Damaging because their lone run came on a bases-loaded walk to Abby Mallow. This is down the line. Kettleman into foul ground. Has it for the first out. So it's up to Copeland to try and recover here after the leadoff walk. Bird goes to second 1. Defensively executed to perfection. Bird to Strader and then Van Brandt.
Northern California.
It was, I know, it's not like that's new. But it was, when I went back for Super Regionals, it's a liner up the end of the bat for Kinsey Mitchell, one away. I went back, I brought like lined pants, I brought a sweater, I brought a winter coat. Royal looking for her first 1-2-3 inning. And she's got it. 4 innings complete. Still the Hoosiers by 1. Mostly contested game with the Billikens out hitting the Hoosiers. And first pitch swinging. Carson Janey is out number 1 here in the 5th. Loser of this game.
But then also perform and get grades at a high level.
She got a good rip on that one. Directly to Cassidy Kettleman in right field. And I really don't know how many people realize it doesn't matter whether you're in the A-10, that your coaching staff can have you in practice. But assuming you're fully healthy, that's great. But if you're not, it's time in the training room, before and after practice. It is a lot of work. 3 up, 3 down. And
lineup right now.
the 3-2 is the second walk of the day for Josie Bird. Well, they do want a pinch run for her. She's already come out once. Burko. Bunt is popped up. Mallow with the over-the-shoulder grab. Folks.
Season and right there, not able to execute.
Wilkeson does, though. Her bunt is down, and Mallow doesn't have a throw to first base. Pushed ever so gently up the first baseline for a bunt single.
Because Avery Parker comes up and gets an RBI.
And here Bray Copeland delivers with a base hit to left. So the bases are full. And perhaps the nation's most feared hitter, certainly among the Big Ten pitching. Hoosiers home run leader all time. Line drive, right field, that gets the job done. It's an RBI single for Minnick, and it plates 2. Great speed with Wilkeson coming around to score from second base. She had her eyes on home plate right when that ball touched down in the grass, and Indiana leads it 4-1.
Yeah, that ball hung up in the air just a little bit, so you got to make sure that it's going to drop in. Minnick doing a nice job of getting it out to the green, and you see she held just a little bit, but as soon as you know it's going to find the green, you take off. Wilkeson with so much speed. She ends up right behind Josie Bird.
The batter is Hoosiers catcher Avery Parker. She had an RBI double in the first inning, goes after the first pitch, and gives Royal exactly what she wanted. An easy second out. The Hoosiers' second inning caught her taking a big turnaround third and threw her out. Right side of the infield, and Ulsis turns it into out number 3. But Taylor Minnick comes through with her 67th and 60.
She's the one who's led you here, so you want to give her the ball.
Oh, that is hit well. Abby Mallow, deep right, gone! The long ball, and it's a dugout emptying home run for Abby Mallow.
Mallow, her 20th of the year. And that's what they're used to seeing. This ball is elevated waist high. You cannot do that against a hitter like Abby Mallow. And she puts a swing on it that her teammates are used to seeing her, but then got the walk her last at bat.
Koneski, it's a big hop to short. And she is put away by Strader.
And she got that walk with the bases loaded.
Rodriguez today, as North Carolina was eliminated by Redhawks of Miami, Ohio, did not drive in a run. Line drive, right field, base hit. Kendall Johnson, who was 0 for 2. So there's still the opportunity for Mallow to end the year. Ryan, left field. Minnick retreats. It's off the base of the wall. There goes Johnson into third. And the tying runs are in scoring position. The Billikens battling in the 6th inning.
About it, and so you're right, it drains you.
Payoff pitch. Copeland wins the battle, striking out Christ. Giving up 3 hits in this inning, 2 of them for extra bases.
With a big clutch RBI if she can.
Swing and a miss. It's dropped by Parker, then inadvertently kicked by Gallagher. And the strikeout is complete with the throw down to first base.
I think it's one of those things they're probably talking to her.
Oh, what a grab in the circle. Reaction time 0 for Isabel Royal.
Yeah, that's a, a great snag right there. Ball back right back at you. Quick glove. Talk about, I do think Bree Copeland, like they probably are talking with her about how do you feel.
Another line drive snagged out of the air. Koneski matches what Royal did.
For them this year.
Bird takes the 0-2, and nothing really got beyond the circle or first base there in the 6th. Royal goes 1-2-3, the last opportunity for the 2 outs to get for Copeland. Her 5th strikeout. That's 3 strikeouts in a row going back to the end of last inning.
But she backed off when Strader was calling it loudly.
So second life for Sullivan now. It's 3-2, and that is high, ball 4. For the second straight inning.
You also don't want to run into the collision, right? So that's why she pills.
2-2, line to third. Burko makes the catch, and a throw to first, not in time.
Well, Fields.
She swings, lofts it to left, but it's not enough, and Taylor Minnick makes the catch. A ball game is over. The Indiana Hoosiers are winners 4-2 against the St. Louis Billikens. Indiana, 40 minutes from now, will square off for the second time in as many days with the Oklahoma State Cowgirls. They get their first win in regionals since they played in Knoxville, Tennessee a couple of years ago. And for the St. Louis Billikens, a year that not only these players, but this school, the program, will never forget their first trip to the NCAA tournament. And they capped off a phenomenal season. They won 4 straight back against the wall games just to get here and showed fight here today.
I agree with you. The seniors, Natalie Sullivan, the different athletes made an impact, and it's something that's going to last a long time.
So from 4, we are down to 3 teams. Arkansas awaits the winner of our next game between Oklahoma